We saw the blink difference as well. Dardez actually picks up a very early blink 3 because he planned to be aggressive, whereas we saw blink 1 in the 600, the extra 600 gold invested elsewhere for EmilZy. At max cooldown, I believe rank 3 blink is now, or rank 1 blink is 150 seconds. That is a long time. When EmilZy blinks, that's like 2 or 3 potential fights that he doesn't have it up for. So when he used it, he knew he was trying to fully invest.
Right, and that's one of the bigger changes. Blink is going to be more of a, it's going to be more specific, more...
It's riskier.
Exactly. It's going to be more intentional now when you blink. And, well, you're going to have to make sure that you get into things carefully. So why don't we get into... You want to say it,
Where's
Kevin?
the red button?
You want to say it, Kevin?
I'm hitting the red button. I don't know if they can hear this.
You want to say it?
Red button.
An ally. Can we get the Adonis picture up there?
LC going to be first pick once again. Myrmidons, they're going to be taking second into this one. LC have first ban, and once again, they're going to take away the Wukong. They won last game. No point in switching it up.
Too strong. Wukong is too strong. Combined with that Bluestone Pendant. I mean, Bluestone Pendant, Magical Cudgel, that's the staph infection. You don't want anything to do with that. Kepri one more time, banned out by Myrmidons. You get it? The dot from the staff?
Get me out. F6. Hades going to be banned again by London Conspiracy. They're taking the same banning routes. Same with Myrmidons. They're going to lock out Kepri. I don't recall what their second ban was, and it doesn't even matter. It's going to be Giannis. And we saw aero.
It was Serqet.
Serqet last time, okay.
Right.
And then I really like this ban, this very targeted ban against aero, because he, even though he died a lot early, I believe it was like 5 or 6 deaths pretty early on, he only had a couple in the later stages of the game, and his damage was absurd. And one of the last fights, we actually saw him portal through. He ulted into the wall when they were sieging that left side Phoenix. Doesn't hit anyone, but what he does is he gets a point-blank unstable vortex on an ulting Thor, and he does like 70% of his health, and then fails cannot dive the back line because he got hurt so much. He had to dive into the fountain. They lost the Phoenix. They lost a couple members, and I think that was really the tipping point, was when aero could get off those big damaging unstable vortexes, there wasn't much Myrmidons could do to respond.
Now, talking about responding, Serqet gets picked up by LC. We'll talk about that in a second. But Ram selected here for Myrmidons. This is a huge look for Myrmidons. This is one of Jermain's favorite gods.
Yeah, he's picked it 6 times in the Pro League so far. A little bit under half his games, I believe, just shy of that 48-something%. I can math, I promise. And it's just a god he's very comfortable with. We've seen him make real big plays with it, most notably in Week 5. I don't remember. It was like 1v3, no health, and he actually kills a Raw somehow. I don't know. Jermain is amazing. New wall, Geb going to be locked in, and we talk about gods that players are familiar and comfortable with. I mean, EmilZy has Geb.
This is EmilZy's character, hand over fist. I mean, he picks his character almost all the time, and it really exemplifies what he sort of brings to the table. 7 picks, more than half of those games wind up being wins, and this really, again, this sort of exemplifies what EmilZy does. He likes to.
He's a defensive support.
Thank you for babysit. Sounds a little harsh. He likes to defend and take care of his teammates, and that's exactly what
it's literally game do. 1, right? It's Dardez and EmilZy. I don't want to say they're opposites, but they have opposite play styles. Dardez is, I'm playing Ares, I'm playing Bacchus, like we see Ares locked in for Dardez. I'm going to try and kill you. And EmilZy's like, all right, I've got 7 games on Geb, I got 2 on Sylvanas, 1 on Kumba, 1 on Athena. I am going to protect my team, make calls in team fights, and try and make plays that way, where Dardez is like, I'm just going to kill you. Hello, Aero. Hello, Aero.
Hello, Aero. Shibalanki banned out, so Shaggyshenk, though not the star of that game, very obviously impacted the game.
Oh, his crits late. He actually crit Dardez for over 600. It was... Like, at the end of the game, that is a support. He's critting for, like, it was like 670. I'm like, oh, my God.
No Shibalanki, please. And that was the ban. I wasn't sure if it was going to come.
I like these mid-series targeted bans. I really like switch-ups like this.
I enjoy this. The Thor ban, I wasn't sure if it was going to come. But I honestly think that LeFaeles was one of the better players on the entire
Oh, yeah, no, he played phenomenally. I mean, he turned around fights that it looked like they were going to lose. Remember when Myrmidons had Fire Giant pushing down the left-hand side lane, and LC wiped them? I mean, they had 2 members alive. No one was dead on LC, and then LeFaeles somehow 1v3 finds 2 kills. And I'm just like, okay, LeFaeles, okay.
That's how you say, hey, do you think you made the right choice? And right now he's going to pick up Batz, which Batz has different potential when it comes to, staying alive in multi-person scenarios, which is what we saw. But the secondary initiate will still be there if they decide to go that route.
Neith, Guan Yu going to be locked in for LC. This is screaming a pick-oriented comp for me. They're going to look to gank, most likely the solo lane with Serqet, Nuwa ult, and Guan Yu able to stun, and just Neith across the map. I like this. I want to see LC get rolling early. They also have the Geb paired with the Nuwa this time, and I talked about it a little bit last game, where you really want to support that synergize as well, that can at least control the enemies for a short amount of time, allowing those minions to spawn out from Nuwa, travel to their target, and stun them with the Shining Metal combination while they're like basically CC'd.
Yeah, so we'll see this Nuwa probably may have an impact a little earlier than we did last game, not because of Tynz and his piloting, but because of the support cast around it. Odin is going to be taken into the solo lane by Myrmidons LeMoGoW, and this should be an interesting look, because as we said before, this is one of the characters that LeMoGoW has sort of played in the past.
Yes, right. This is just a god he'll default to a lot of times. If Hades is banned out, if his Chang'e's banned out, or if it's not a good fight for Chang'e. So I'll be interested to see how he does in this matchup. And it's a pick comp versus a team fight comp. You see
for sure
big AoEs coming up from Myrmidons. You have the Hunbatsu, once he's 5, Fear No Evil, one of the best team fighting ultimates in the game. Agni, big AoE, damage and stun. Dardez able to pull multiple people like we saw back in game 1. And then Odin able to lock him in place.
Batz is going to start with the blink, so right away you know that LeFaeles is really thinking about that initiation with the Fear No Evil, of course. Not just yet, but when he hits 5, I expect the level 5 and the first usage of blink to come within 30 seconds of each other.
It's same with Cherryo. You can actually see him picking it up too, and when they blink, it's going to be important. Can we actually hover over blink for a short amount of time? It's going to be 150 seconds now, 5 seconds out of combat. This was 90 seconds before. An additional 60 seconds on this, which means I'll be really interested to see, because Serqet synergizes so well with blink, and I heard talks of the players, they believe that Serqet's going to become lower priority with this huge nerf to blink, because she won't be able to put out as much pressure unless you want to invest that 900 gold in.
Exactly. And even if you do, you're looking at half the cooldown. It used to be 45 seconds, now it's 70. And a large part of, so just without getting too deep into it, Serqet has 2 jumps, and well, if you use your brain, 1 jump gets in, 1 jump gets out, right? Well, 1 is to deal damage with, so 1 is to get in, and the other is to deal damage, and then you kind of just hope you can get out of there. Blink changes that situation completely. You blink in, you deal damage, and you jump out. So now, with this on a much longer cooldown, you can only do that once every 150 seconds before resorting to the regular jump in, deal damage, and kind of like, oh no, maybe I'm safe. That will help balance out the Serqet a little bit, as we said, and that's why you're going to see her picked instead of just outright banned. Will it actually work? Keep her down? We'll have to see.
So, speaking of, look at that mid lane. Look at that damage from Nuwa. Tynz actually takes it. She only has 1 minion, but when you get hit when you get hit by that explosion and the Shining Metal, the burst is absurd. And we saw Tynz immediately have to dash out when he got hit by that, because he was also taking tick damage from the fog. And this pressure that we see coming out from London Conspiracy's mid laner, I mean, they're zoning.
Tynz is level 5 though. So it's worth noting that Agni is very much, it's funny, these 2 characters in the mid lane change drastically once they get their ultimates, and Agni will be able to effectively clear with his ult, and probably had a hard time without it. So now that he's level 5, should be able to do what he's supposed to. You can see right there, being able to just clear that with a little bit of help from the Batz. Dual lane, Neith not going to be able to backflip, because she's chained up.
Dardez hitting all 3 chains. Shaggyshenk's going to take a significant amount of poke, but Dardez actually took more from the archers there, and Shaggyshenk, he's going to be able to heal that up. I mean, no death toll for him. He's got Bluestone, but he has a heal in his kit. Very early rotation from LeFaeles, actually, and you can see Dardez trying to bait them forward, but I mean, Shaggyshenk and EmilZy are not taking the bait all game. They have a neith, and they're still playing passive.
I mean, they did this last game, and it should be no surprise to Myrmidons that London Conspiracy is not afraid to play back. Zashu just gets the tip of that, just gets hit by the tip of that bird bomb. He's going to take about 50% of his HP bar with it, but a couple of more waves and he'll be able to heal himself up.
Look at this though, rotation on Serqet. They're going to try and look for LeMoGoW. They're going to wait for him to bird bomb, and I want Zashu here to put himself in the middle of the wave. I want him to bait it. It may be easily read, but I think he can bait LeMoGoW into doing it here, and it doesn't look like LeMoGoW is going to take the bait at all. He still has his jump available.
Blink in, damn it. Well,
Doesn't matter.
Shaggyshenk gets credit for that one. It was a blink, it was a taunt, it was a ring, and it was a death. Ring, of course, coming on the side of the dead one, LeMoGoW. He's going to fall for the first blood, and it goes to Neith all the way on the other side of the map with that World Weaver.
This is what I wanted from London Conspiracy. Was their game plan, was to lock down this Odin, soul lane specifically, and have this very pick-oriented comp. And I think we're going to see continued pressure towards this soul lane. They weren't able to steal away buffs that time. A little bit too risky with LeFaeles and Dardez rotating over. But from now on, if they're able to find these kills on LeMoGoW, expect London Conspiracy to invade into the jungle.
And that's what this comp is meant to do, and you rightly so. We're waiting for the bait to come, waiting for the bird, but it didn't even have to happen.
LeMoGoW read the bait too. He's he jumped the wave before. That wave, he recognized that his team had uncontested mid camps, knew something was fishy.
Smart play by
saw
LeMoGoW
Zashu just standing in the wave. He's like, what are you doing, man? I know something's going on. I know you got a neith. I know you got a Serqet.
Professional player.
Your Serqet is not anywhere on the map, but it didn't matter. There was just too much burst for him.
Yeah.
Great CC chain coming out.
London Conspiracy with that first blood, inch slowly, 500 gold lead, which is, of course, the amount of gold provided to you for grabbing first blood. So, a little bit of a step in the right direction. Dardez, on the other hand, going to step into a different direction. He's going to pull 3 and actually pull 0. Here comes the secondary initiate, fear no evil. Tynz gets 1 kill. Are you surprised?
No, Gal. This is what I'm surprised about. And Zashu, the Raven Shield. Zashu, you got to commit. You're stuck in there no matter what. But it looks like it will be cleaned up unless someone can intercept it. No. So, actually on the angle,
it looked like
if LeFaeles was a little bit higher on the map, he probably would have been able to intercept it.
Yeah, I thought LeFaeles was going to be able to intercept it. That's tough. That's hard to communicate. Odin does fall down.
That's not a communication. That's like LeFaeles. I hope you can kind of assume where this is coming from. That's all it is. Unless he's waits for it to appear in the mid lane and then blinks to it, which is
that's an example
absurd
of
amount of mechanics and reaction times.
That's an example of something that being on LAN actually helps because you can look at your teammate's computer.
You cheater. You're a dirty screen
looker.
looker. I knew you were a screen looker, Tom.
Does it count if you're on the same team?
Yes.
What?
I don't know.
You were the one cheating at the playtest.
Going on this left-hand side, you can see Serqet with no blink available, going to have to jump in. Dardez, he actually misses the Deathbane, and Dardez may be able to get out because of that unless Shaggyshenk can find the last auto attack, but it's going to be the backflip that secures that one.
The BMBF. Here comes the mid and the jungle. Jermain gets credit for 1, and that's all they'll get.
EmilZy died because Cherryo missed Deathbane on Dardez. 100%. 100%. Because they had to commit so much harder. EmilZy actually had to invest a couple more autos into that because if EmilZy didn't find the autos, it was over.
Worth saying that it's been a while since anybody's really been allowed to play Serqet. I mean, sure, these players probably practice the gods outside of the professional setting, but that's something that you got to think of once a god sort of is permanently banned, so to speak. Interesting to see these players come back and pick it back up. I mean, going back to all the way back to launch tournament times, and this is just for example, Zeus was always banned, believe it or not. Zeus was the god you could not let be played. Cloud9 at the time decided to let them play it, and nobody could play Zeus because it had been so long since he was allowed to be played. Serqet, we might sort of see that. See that.
I mean, that's LAN settings in general. Online, it's a little bit different.
Sure.
But at LAN settings, you do see those switch-ups to those gods that just aren't typically played that often. They're not let through picks and bans. No one practices them, or they're bad as well, like Anubis's, Zeus's now. And we actually saw Cloud9. Yeah, it's funny, you're talking about launch tournament. Cloud9, the North American team now, they were European back then, actually played Zeus at the summer finals. Yeah. And while they didn't win a game with it, it was actually a very strong pick they had in their back pocket because players didn't understand the damage output it had. They didn't recognize what they could and couldn't do against the matchup. And while it didn't work out at the summer finals because Barracuda was basically sick, it was still something that surprised opponents. And it's not that Zeus is, or these gods are the best. They're just unfamiliar to play against.
You know what I'm going to say.
Do I have to hit the red button
You know what
already?
I'm going to say.
I'm just going to hit it.
Hey, Kevin, the best plays on cognitive.
That's my joke. You can't steal it.
Are you saying you're the one that invented the best jokes?
Yes.
All right, folks, you've heard it here first.
I invented the best.
Oh, you invented the best?
It wasn't Zapman.
Slap fight going on the right-hand side. I'm going to ignore that one and let it marinate real quick. You guys can find Adonis on Twitter at hi-rez Adonis.
Yo, thank you. I'm trying to get to 10,000 followers. Thanks for the shout-out. I feel scummy if I do it myself, but if you're going to do it.
You guys can unfollow him at hi-rez Adonis.
I'll roll. I'll come back and I'll have like minus 600. Like, we hate him.
Almost 10 minutes in here, folks. Kills are tied, as is gold, just about. First one went the way of Myrmidons at first, and London Conspiracy quickly took that away. And in spectacular fashion,
Look at this.
took down the Titan.
Chain's going to miss,
Dardez.
and Shaggyshenk.
Nope.
Does he? Oh,
Nope.
man, that timing so
Nope.
unfortunate. Now Dardez, he's going to look to get turned on here. Can Shaggy find the route? FaeLes actually rotating in, though.
Oh,
and
yes, FaeLes.
Tynz is here, too. EmilZy sees it around the corner. Nice beats, though. Going to
Beats.
immune the Agni bomb stun.
Beads coming out from the Geb. Important stuff to note because of that Ares. Beads is going to be forced onto the Geb. And you take a look at his other actives. Blink's already there, so you're not going to have any support actives. No creeping cursors, no shells able to come out of EmilZy.
EmilZy loves beads.
So does
Shadow Q. Those are the two supports that are like, I want beads. Give me beads.
And I absolutely love beads on Geb because he can do so much during a fight that you want him to be around to help out.
FaeLes going to get pressured here pretty hard. Shaggyshenk, though, caught alone. Gold Fury is still spawned, and it looks like no one's going to be able to find a kill there.
Everybody's fine.
FaeLes did use his ult, though, so they do have a pretty open team fighting window for London Conspiracy. Actually, look at this. EmilZy almost caught up by the change, but a nicely timed blink. Blink 2 online, so 110 seconds.
All that for nothing. Gold Fury's still up. Nobody died. Damage coming out from Tynz. Not going to hit much of anything. Stun also will miss. Cherryo and his mid laner aero.
Look at these sentry wards on this Gold Fury, right? London Conspiracy controls the direct one on it, but there's the 3 choke points on for Myrmidons are all covered.
Which
the only choke
more
point
important?
that excuse me?
Which do you think is more important?
I would like to see one of those sentries in a different place for Myrmidons. If they had a bottom left choke point, I think that would be fine. But I mean, London Conspiracy, basically, their ward is only saying, are Myrmidons doing it or are they not? Whereas Myrmidons' wards are giving a little bit more information on the positioning of players, and it's going to allow them to find picks or find kills. But the problem is, London Conspiracy, they're not really pushing that deep into Myrmidons' jungle, and Myrmidons have defensive warding.
Better safe than sorry, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, it's Cherryo on Serqet. You really can't take that risk. You can't take the risk of Serqet getting ahead, and they've done a nice job so far. Even though LeMoGoW did fall for first blood, I mean, they've done a nice job of not letting Cherryo get off a lot of pressure.
This is one of my favorite stats pulled up right here. I love to compare the last hits on the supports. Dardez has 9. EmilZy has 12.
No, you got to combo like the support and the hunter, right?
No. Just last hits on the support. Dardez has 9. Aero has 12. It's a race to see who gets to 15.
You know how many last hits I steal? Like, it's so like you got watch, or if you don't have watchers, you buy Vanguard and you just steal last hits anyway.
This is why you cast and don't play.
I know. Trying to have fun, man. Just let me steal your last hits. You don't need all this farm. I'm the support. I need to be levels ahead of you. Cherryo, that Sentry Ward still in control of London Conspiracy on the Gold Fury. Cherryo trying to find someone looking to counter ward it. Dardez was actually rotating over there, but backed off slightly. So probably sniffing something out there. You can see him sitting around the corner. Actually, I don't think he knows this is here. Now he does.
They don't. Chains will miss. Ultimate grabs too. Pulls the Serqet under tower. Well, Serqet goes there by her own volition. Ultimates at the perfect time to avoid the pull. Deals some damage, but it's neither here nor there. Serqet ult is down. EmilZy and 2 other members of the dual lane going to be stuck here in between the whole rest of the team. Myrmidons. Down goes EmilZy for the 4th kill on the side of the red squad, but Dardez looks like he's going to fall, and he will, to the basic out of the mid laner. Zashu makes the rotation all the way from the right-hand side, and he'll pick up one of the horse, looking for the stun on the second, just barely going to miss, but the double kill is already on Guan Yu. FaeLes, stuck in a bad spot, teleports out, jumps down, but Zashu gets credit for the triple kill 13 minutes in.
That is the power of Teleport 3. You can actually see LeMoGoW went blink, and I was going to say that, but the fight broke out a little bit too soon. Zashu rotates in. He's the extra man. He picks up 3 players in the back line, thinking they're safe. Very unfortunate. Clear miscommunication coming out from Myrmidons. Is LeMoGoW trying to fight this?
It looks like he might. He gets zigzagged.
There's no way he's going to try and fight
Bird bomb coming out. Slow on the top. Damage on the front. Down comes the ring.
There's no way LeMoGoW is going to try and fight this. There's absolutely no way LeMoGoW is going to run in 1v4 when his entire team's dead. Absolutely no way.
With the tower down in an Odin ring, I have no problem with it. If he didn't use the jump, unfortunately he did. Dardez is going to suffer the same defeat. 1 by 1 they come in, and 1 by 1 they fall. Dardez, Tynz might be the latest.
Okay, Luddic Conspiracy staying around for a very long time. FaeLes has rotated back in. EmilZy, though, he respawned, rolled in, and was going to be able to protect his team and allow them to get out. But Luddic Conspiracy right now taking about a 3K gold lead off of that last fight, grabbing those 2 towers and a lot of map control.
Much different game this time around, Kevin. It's 14 minutes and we see a lead. I think last time we had to get to 40 minutes before we saw any team really in lead one way or the other. Latest swing, London Conspiracy takes about 3,500 gold over Myrmidons, and what a big swing. And honestly, credit to Zashu.
Oh no, Zashu is completely controlling his lane right now. Last time it was, so game 1, it was actually LeMoGoW who really controlled Zashu. He controlled the soul lane, got the first blood, took advantage of it, had about a 1K to 1,500 direct gold lead early on, and that was actually contributing to a lot of Myrmidons' lead. But for this game 2, it's all been Zashu. He got the first gank kill with the help of Cherryo, and ever since then, he has just been running it. And that teleport 3, so important. You can already see about a 800 gold lead for him. EmilZy, though.
Well, EmilZy ultimates the lane.
It just, okay, actually a blink in by Dardez here. Going to try and pull 2, excuse me. EmilZy had nothing available to get out of it there, and it looks like he's going to fall. Dardez, nice pick by him.
Big play by Myrmidons to capitalize on that mistake. Mistakes happen, and if the enemy team doesn't capitalize or take advantage of it, that's just as big a mistake as the person that made the original one. So Myrmidons understand. They notice that EmilZy most likely just fat-fingered the ultimate, honestly, there.
Oh, no, he completely did.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't aiming for anybody, right? Unfortunately, that
maybe
happened,
the tower.
But Myrmidons, it's very important that that comes out.
Big investment here, and actually a great cage going to lock Tynz out, but the minions, they're not stopped, and they actually go straight through that cage, and they're going to be able to get out. Cherryo going super deep, but Tynz and FaeLes were right around the corner. Cherryo still able to find the auto attacks and lock him down, and now it's aero 1v2 as Zashu rotates in as well, and Myrmidons are on full retreat.
I guarantee you LeMoGoW hit F6.
They're not even going to allow FaeLes to get his back cams.
I like it. Push the lead. Play the lead.
F6 pushed? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, there was a surrender vote almost immediately as soon as Odin fell.
Come on, guys. That's just rough. That's just rough sometimes.
Rough stuff coming out for Myrmidons again. The team as a unit played so well last time around. This time, not so much. And as I said, a lot of it coming off of Zashu. Part of it, especially in that last fight, is Guan Yu is such a... He's a complete character. Now, he's got a lot of bad sides to him, right? But in the sense of being a warrior, he's got crowd control, he's got damage, he's got healing, he's got pretty much, he's the jack of all trades, master of none, which is what a warrior is supposed to be. So in that last engagement, Zashu was able to slow, kill, stun, and heal, all of which his team needed. Great application of the Guan Yu.
Yeah, and right now, he's level 18. He's 3 levels above LeMoGoW, and he's a full item ahead. He's got Yotwins. Both do have that defensive Mystical Mail online, but, I mean, LeMoGoW invested so much into that. That's the thing about Mystical Mail, is it's such an expensive item, and if you get behind early, it's very hard. It's like, it's the worst item when you're behind, because it takes you so long to get on. You could see it took him 17 minutes to get that up, and he only has Beads 3 and Blink 1 in addition. He doesn't even have Blink maxed, so it's only 150-second cooldown, and Myrmidons have been defensive. We haven't been able to see really LeMoGoW utilize that active once already.
LeMoGoW coming back to lane. It's still scary enough to send Zashu packing just a little bit. Zashu also has Mystical Mail.
And full credit to Cherryo, too. I mean, Zashu, right, we've been talking him up, but to be fair, he just pressed teleport and picked up 3 players who were, like, not aware he was even teleporting for some reason. And ever since then, for me, it's been Cherryo putting... He didn't have a lot of pressure early, or I should say Myrmidons responded to his pressure early, so he wasn't able to find big kills. But since then, he's found multiple picks, and that's really allowed LC to take their lead and blow it up. And Myrmidons, it looks like they're trying to take to the sky early, trying to find and lock down this Fire Giant, but London Conspiracy, they just drop off of it. They don't even care.
Play. I like that. London Conspiracy's on the Fire Giant, and then, honestly, Shaggyshenk just gets hit by it too many times, so they have to leash it. And they leash it to the side. Myrmidons, they blink in, and nobody's there. Dardez sort of like blinks in and goes, anybody home?
I mean, Dardez is level 12. He can get blown up by Guan Yu right now. EmilZy, though, going to be locking down Dardez. There goes the neith ult. And the question is, can Dardez get his ult off in time? As FaeLes, he's diving the backline, getting a big crit on his Shaggyshenk, but he has to jump out. Zashu already under half Dardez forced out. LeMoGoW forced out as well. No one's died, but London Conspiracy are the clear victors. Do they want to dive into Tier 2 is the question, and I don't think that's the answer.
No ultimate on the side of LC this time around. Cataclysm was enough to separate one member. And that's
Blink
all
is up on Serqet.
Interesting, because Serqet does have that taunt. The blink taunt is exactly what we're going to see, and the tower is going to go right on the Cherryo. Because of that, London Conspiracy has created enough space that allows aero to go ahead and basic.
Okay.
No. LeFaeles goes ahead and falls. This is
LeFaeles had beats
play.
too. Really just didn't think he would get bursted there. Cherryo, he's going to come in once again, but get forced off and just run away quickly.
Definitely the right play. Absolutely love it. Jermain will pause, but literally for a second, apparently. No, we're going to get a second pause real quick, and we'll be back in that game in just a moment. But completely different game here in Game 2 than Game 1. Game 1 was a back and forth. Everybody, literally everybody on the field looked good. In Game number 2, this is all London Conspiracy.
This is just the execution of the team comp that they drafted. They drafted the neith, the Serqet, and they drafted the Nuwa in the mid lane. And then they said, we are picking players, and then we are going to take leads off of that. And that's exactly what they did. They found the pick on the LeMoGoW, which got Zashu ahead. LeMoGoW invests in the blink, and then what happens is London Conspiracy finds another pick on the left-hand side, break out a fight, don't super hard commit to it. They allow Zashu to take the lead he got early from the pick, teleport into the backline, lock down 3 players, and ever since then, it's been the Cherryo show who are finding these players who are just trying to ward or trying to get their own buffs and locking them down.
How much of what Cherryo's doing here, 3-1 and 5, is a result of blink on his kit?
Probably a decent amount of it. Okay. At least early on. That's why they got the kill on LeMoGoW. I mean, this game for me has been so far one off a Cherryo Serqet play. Not that the other players have played bad, but
I feel
it was up to him to execute the game plan, and he's been executing it exactly how he needs to.
Yeah, it's interesting that even with this change, because the change to blink the changes to blink, not even the changes to blink very obviously affected the exit strategy of blink. Blink initiate seems to be fine as long as it happens less frequently.
So for me, right, the one time that the fight went bad for London Conspiracy was over in that left-hand side when Cherryo missed Death Pain.
Right.
But it was also because he didn't have Blink. So he actually had to use Ambush in.
All right.
And then it wasn't as clean of a kill. Myrmidons were able to take something back, but, I mean, Blink's been up when he's needed it so far, and now London Conspiracy, they're going to take an uncontested Fire Giant as Myrmidons. They don't want to fight into this and just walk into the jungle. They're 8k down. It's a little bit too risky for them, they decided, and they're going to just try and farm up.
Yeah, they have a different composition, and they're not... Myrmidons aren't finding the secondary initiates out of their jungler this time around that they did last time. Whether or not that's, a result of the player or the god, Batz instead of Thor, is sort of... I'm not sure. But whatever the case may be, Myrmidons aren't finding that secondary oh no button.
Yeah, I mean, LeFaeles went Transcendence, which really delayed his damage because he was spending so much to try and get that. Blink it by EmilZy in the mid. Counter blink, actually, by Dardez. Gonna lock in 4, but Dardez, he just falls. LeFaeles in the back line trying to kill Shaggyshenk. LeMoGoW gonna cage him in, but so far it's a 1-for-0. 2-for-0 as LeMoGoW dives a little bit too deep by himself because Zashu, he's just way too tanky, has too much damage, able to zone out the rest of Myrmidons. Mid Phoenix falls, the heals are coming through, and London Conspiracy are looking good for Game 2.
Kevin, that's another big point as to why Myrmidons' play isn't working out here in Game 2 as well. Game number 1, Dardez got not just ahead, I mean, Dardez was a freight train. And because of that, when he goes in and grabs 5 people, they weren't able to burst down the Ares like London Conspiracy is able to now. That's one of the big differences. And again, the secondary difference is the number 2 initiate isn't really, they're not playing as well as they did before with the Thor up in the air. There's more initiate room, etc. So Myrmidons come into game number 2 with the same mindset and the same game plan, but it doesn't work out for them because of lack of lead on Dardez and lack of secondary initiation on LeFaeles.
2 of the worst gods in the game to play behind are Ares and Odin.
The best god from behind is Allied.
Allied's not a god. He's not that good yet.
Yet?
He's not a Zap Man.
Is he going
not a Zap Man.
Is he going to rise on your power ranking?
Listen, Zap Man went to Worlds, right? Allied, he just watched Worlds from the desk at the stage, okay?
Where were you at Worlds?
I was actually a very important part. You wanna talk some trash here, Tom? You wanna talk some trash here?
Hey man, I did interviews.
Yeah, I know you did.
You made everything happen. But still, I did interviews.
Hey, man. LeMoGoW going to get caught out here. The question is, can he juke enough? His beads are available, but he's trapped in his own ring.
There's no jump available.
He's actually trapped in his own ring.
Yeah, LeMoGoW
trapped himself in his own ring.
Despite all his rage. Actually, not playing Ratatasker, but still in a cage. 2 members of London Conspiracy.
F6, get me out. I'm hitting the button, man.
Coming down the right-hand side, coupled with aero. That'll make it a 3-man squad. Fire Giant around the waists of the blue team.
I like what London Conspiracy are doing here. They're not like just full diving. They're pushing up all 3 waves. You can actually see EmilZy pushing up in the mid as Dardez is going to get picked here. And I think this is going to be it. It looks like a sweep unless something absurd can happen. And LC throw, and 2 members are already dead. 3 members are actually already dead. LeFaeles uses his ult just to try and get out. And now London Conspiracy are going to dive the fountain as well as they can. It's going to be a sweep coming up from LC. Game 1 was actually very intense, very back and forth, but Game 2 was a perfect execution of the game plan that they wanted, and well played by them.
A lot of times Smite is about adjusting your plan because the opponent has really made a good step and changed what you have to do. This time around, absolutely not the case. London Conspiracy just had to really keep in mind what they planned, get the picks, take the gold from the picks, and go ahead and continue to win, as you said, and well, that's exactly what happened. Myrmidons not really able to shake it up this time around.
They looked very strong, though, in Game 1. I think it gives a lot of hope. LeFaeles looked great as well. We're going to take a look at First Blood, and I believe it was on LeMoGoW who fell first. Yeah.
Well,
come on, why are we watching from this angle?
Hey, you're the one.
Look at this skill shot.
You're the one that cuts new WoW ultimates.
Hey, man, new WoW ultimates. You
Wait
can at
for
least,
it.
With new
Wait
WoW,
for it.
you can actually see the new
Wait
WoW
for
come
it.
through as well.
There it is. First Blood, Shaggyshenk.
I mean, that's just got to be rough, right? You're in your lane, and 4 people, like, there's only 2 people there, but there's actually 4 people doing damage to you. Globals, boys.
Globals, boys. Too much to handle. And Shaggyshenk is going to be our MVP this time around. He didn't even have to be in your lane to get the kill.
No, he played very well, though. I mean, it wasn't just his ults where he was able to help his team out early, but he was also really controlling the dual lane, really shutting down Jermain. He was always rotating perfectly. You could see him finding, he was 6-0 and 8. Just had a very, very clean game, mechanically very sound. You could see him hitting really important routes to lock down Dardez. I mean, that was the key, right? It was to kill Dardez and LeMoGoW, get them behind, and he just rooted them in place and nothing they could do about it.
The BMBF. Bad Manners Backflip. Absolutely love
backflip.
It. The BMBF. It's a kill when you get the backflip off of it. It's a lot of fun. It's rare.
Okay.
It's rare, but you do get to see it. Shaggyshenk being a huge part of this lineup. Honestly, in game number 1, he did some damage, but I don't think Xbalanque was the cause of the win there. I think in game number 2, Shaggyshenk really was an integral part of the team.
Yeah, I mean, game 1, like, the game plan for London Conspiracy was just kind of like, well, we don't really think we can protect Shaggy, so we're all just going to dive their backline. Good luck. Good luck, man.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. London Conspiracy take 2 games to none, and this time around we actually have the substitute, Cherryo, the jungler. Hello, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. So you were playing on Upcoming Stars originally, and you've shuffled around a little bit, substituting for London Conspiracy. You played very well. Are you going to be taking Soggy Sandal's spot anytime soon?
Nah, it was just like Soggy was having some internet problems. Not sure if it was like DDoS or just his crappy internet, but yeah. So he was on TeamSpeak, but I was going offline so many times.
Okay.
All right. Well, you played absolutely fantastic. And one of the questions I have for you is sub-specific. I mean, a lot of what we talk about up here is sort of synergy and time with the team. What is it like to just all of a sudden be called up, hey, you need to fill in real right now? You played on a team, and now you've subbed for an SPL team. What's that experience? How is that experience different as a substitute?
I'm always ready to sub for anyone in the team. I always practice every role in ranked and in casuals just to, in case someone has to like get out. I actually practiced a lot yesterday and today jungle because Soggy was having internet problems yesterday too, in scrim, so I was kind of ready.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
Very cool.
So I have a question. What was the game plan in that first game? I know you drafted Bologna. You had the disarm for Jermain in the back line on that Freya. Was your job just to dive him and just keep him locked down, or what was the mindset? Because from us, it just looked like both of the frontliners on both teams just diving the back lines.
The game plan was me going on the backline on the fair Noah with I had disarm, I had my shield, I had my shield of the underworld just to stay on fair the whole fight. And Steve, he was Zashu was supposed to be appealing for the backline. As soon as I got the pestilence, I was then able to do more in the team fights. Before that, I was just like dying for Ares. Like Ares was dying, I was dying on the other side. And then as soon as I got pestilence, the team fight changes because I was able to take more damage.
Awesome.
Again, very fantastic stuff. What game are you playing right now?
We just have a lot of different strategies, really.
Okay, no problem. Anyway, before I let you go, again, congratulations on the team wins. Congratulations on your personal play. Very, very impressive to see you be able to come step up as a substitute and play at the level you did. Do you have any shout-outs to yourself, friends, or otherwise?
Shout-outs to LC and the sponsor. Shout-outs to my team. Shout-outs to our coach, Tynz, who really helped me. We both together watch the games and analyze all of those scrims and SPL games. Shout-outs to Soggy's internet for letting me play today.
So do you also coach as well, then, with Deathians?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Very cool stuff. And again, fantastic performance to see you come off the bench and do what you did. Again, that was Cherryo, jungler, or substitute, rather, for London Conspiracy, the team that takes 2 games over Myrmidons. And with that 2-0 set, it should shift the standings just a little bit. Myrmidons will suffer a couple more losses. That'll put them down on the bottom 4-12, where London Conspiracy stays 8-8. Pretty great.
And that's important for London Conspiracy to put more of a buffer to solidify themselves as the 5th spot. And even if they do start slipping, they have a little bit bigger of a window or an edge to also make sure they don't fall below 6th.
Yeah, I mean, they're 8-8. Pretty good bait trying to get away from the bottoms with the rest of their mates. And we'll Kevin's mashing that button. That's going to be it for Europe today. We do have a North American game coming to you at live. Cognitive Gaming versus Eager. We'll get to see these 2 teams rematch what happened at LAN, this time online. We'll catch you in a few. Stay tuned.
Go to sleep, open my eyes, I'm looking down. Whenever you're calling, baby, you know I turn around. I see your face, not one sound. Whatever is calling, baby, you know I turn around. Turn around.